Dominica's support for the One China policy. In the news from the region, Caribbean nations unite to toughen up citizenship by investment laws, and internationally, EU sends wildfire help to Spain as death toll rises. The details of these stories and more coming up next.
It's in the feeling and how we talk. It's in the meaning and our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. Cause the rhythm of life is bumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things going. Before we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrate and come, let your rhythm flow.
DBS News.
And welcome back. A special good evening to the listeners of Acoustic Worship Radio. First off, Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Vince Henderson has reiterated Dominica's support for the One China policy. Dominica and the People's Republic of China signed a new economic and technical cooperation agreement on Wednesday for grant funding of $37 million.
We once again want to join with you in your goal of bringing together all of China as one sovereign nation, which includes the province of Taiwan. We remain steadfast in our support to China in its global initiatives to bring about peace, equality, but more so to promote sovereignty and peace among nations through a shared future of prosperity for all our people. And please convey the thanks of Prime Minister Skerrit and the government and people of Dominica to your government for your continued generosity.
And that was Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Vince Henderson. The Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force has appointed its first female Assistant Commissioner of Police. Antonia Moses, who has served the police force over the last 32 years, is among 25 officers who received appointments this week.
The Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force has received 25 appointments. Out of the 25 appointments, we have 21 acting appointments and 4 confirmed appointments. To be a little more specific with reference to these appointments, we have Antonia Moses acting in the position of Assistant Commissioner of Police, Chaucer James acting in the position of Superintendent of Police, Inspector Delvin John Lewis acting in the position of Assistant Superintendent of Police, Inspector Lyndon Timothy acting in the position of Assistant Superintendent of Police, and we have 8 inspectors that are acting, 13 sergeants acting, and 2 confirmations at the rank of corporals, and 13 acting corporals. In total, as I said, these are 25 appointments made recently in the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force. For emphasis, we have, out of the appointments, 4 persons have been confirmed in the position. In other words, they are not acting. They are confirmed in the position, and that's their substantive rank. You have Inspector Erickson John Baptiste. He moved from the rank of Sergeant of Police to confirmed Inspector of Police. And then we have Corporal Daryl Damnier. He has moved from the position of Corporal of Police to Sergeant of Police. And we have 2 confirmed Corporals of Police.
And that was Acting Deputy Police Chief Jeffrey James. New Acting Assistant Superintendent of Police Delvin John Lewis returned to Dominica recently from an 11-week high-level RSS command and staff course at St. George's University in Grenada. 3 volunteers from the United States Peace Corps Eastern Caribbean will be officially sworn in as Peace Corps volunteers in Dominica. The swearing-in ceremony for Dominica's newest cohort of volunteers is scheduled for tomorrow morning in Portsmouth. These volunteers will commit to 2 years of service in primary schools in the northern part of the island. One of the volunteers, Tess Styler, expressed her excitement about the opportunity to advance her career through this experience.
We will be working in the Department of Education with the English Literacy Resource Teacher title within primary schools in the northern part of Dominica. I myself am very excited for this opportunity, not only to be able to work in schools and further my career in education, but also just the opportunity to be on this island and to learn all about the culture and all the people and everything that makes Dominica the Nature Isle. So our work will mainly be around collaborating with a counterpart teacher that's been assigned to us, as well as working with our principals to co-plan and co-facilitate small groups. And that could look like one-on-one support with students and just really utilizing diverse tools that we've learned in these past 9 weeks and different techniques that primarily focus on literacy topics and support. And this is all where is needed. And additionally, in our role, we serve as help for any of the library services that the schools might be needing, whether that is from the ground up with the development of the library or just coming in and working with them as where they are.
And that was Peace Corps volunteer in Dominica, Tess Styler. Jameson Smith, another Peace Corps volunteer for Dominica, hopes that their stint on the island will significantly impact the education system in Dominica.
We've been training previously for the past 9 weeks, so now we'll officially be volunteers. I mean, I'm really excited to get in the classroom and, help promote English, help promote culture between Dominica and the United States, like that cultural exchange. So the goal is for it to be super impactful. I mean, the Peace Corps has been around since 1961, so we're really hoping to add or join that legacy. In the short term, we hope to, increase literacy rates for the students that we work with. But in the long term, we hope to increase capacity for learning and make sustainable situations for teachers to benefit from, as well as the students.
And that was Jameson Smith, Peace Corps volunteer for Dominica. The 7 contestants competing for the 2025 Miss WOB Duet title will be officially revealed and sashed tomorrow. This year's event will take place as a cocktail gathering at the Old Mill Cultural Center starting at 5 p.m.
Tomorrow, Friday, we're going to be launching the Miss WOB Duet contestants, and they will be officially sashed and be revealed to the public. This year we have 7 young ladies who will be participating and vying for the title on the Miss WOB Duet pageant. This year's theme is Crowned in Culture. We'll also have performances by Mary Pascal, DJ Rio, and Pan in Harmony. So it's going to be a nice classy cocktail event launching our Miss WOB Duet, starting the ball rolling for Independence 2025. So it's going to be taking place at the Home of Culture, which is the Old Mill Cultural Center, from 5 p.m.
And that was a senior cultural officer at the Cultural Division, Giselle Hyacinth. Dominica has been ranked 98 on the United Nations Human Development Index. According to the UN Sustainable Development Knowledge Platform, the Human Development Index measures a country's average achievements in health, education, and standard of living. In 2025, Dominica was categorized as having a high human development with an ADI or HDI value of 0.742. The 2025 HDI report, titled A Matter of Choice, People and Possibilities in the Age of AI, focuses on the role of choices in human development, particularly in the context of artificial intelligence. A higher HDI ranking indicates better overall human development achievements in these areas. According to the report, while a ranking of 98 is good, it's worth noting that there is always room for improvement and further development in various areas. The UN report highlights that Dominica has seen improvements in its Human Development Index value over time, indicating progress in human development. The data used, the indices and other human development indicators included, were provided by a variety of public international sources and represent the best statistics available for those indicators at the time of the preparation of the Human Development Report. Several initiatives have been launched to assist in efforts to control the spread and reduce the population of the giant African snail in Dominica. That's according to Nelicia Kopel of the Plant Protection and Quarantine Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture. The giant African snail, first discovered in 2007 in the northern community of Dodan, is considered one of the most invasive and destructive species. The giant African snail has been identified in 18 communities across the island.
So we are looking at community outreach and just to empower individuals to support, because at the end of the day, it's not just a division of agriculture issue. It's a Dominica issue at this point because it is spreading rapidly. Wow. So we are encouraging the community to support the initiatives. And then from the community outreach, we are looking at community nocturnal cleanups. So we would invite the community to join us on those cleanups and then encourage them to also take the initiative to organize those cleanups as well, just to ensure that the population can be reduced.
And that was Nelicia Kopel of the Plant Protection and Quarantine Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture. Minister for Energy Dr. Vince Henderson has reported that the installation of the geothermal power plant in the Rosa Valley is nearing completion. His statement came following a site visit to the area on Wednesday.
We got a report on a presentation by ORMAT, the technical team on the ground, and they informed us today that they are 90% complete with the installation of the power plant. There are a few items that will be done in the coming weeks, and they're confident that they're on target to have the plant delivered by the end of the year. The key thing is to ensure that by October of this year, they can begin the testing of the actual power plant, which will have to take several weeks, about 2 months, to ensure that everything is up and running as they should. The Dominica Geothermal Development Company has been leading the process in coordinating the works with ORMAT and DOMLEC to ensure, and also the company Calpaterou preparing the transmission lines to ensure that everything is synchronized to provide power to the grid by January of next year.
He says construction of the transmission line from the Rosa Valley area to Fonkale is underway.
You will see the amount of work that's being done with the installation or construction of the transmission lines, and most of those which are being done on the ground through Trafalgar, Loda, of course, going right across up to throughout Silver Lake, coming Louisville, Silver Lake, coming right across, going up on the Santa Roma back road, and now they've started going downwards from Santa Roma all the way down to the roundabout by the Dominica China Friendship Hospital, down to Federation Drive, and then moving across right through to ensure that they can get the power to Fokole. We have taken a route that will have as little disruption as possible, and to ensure that we maintain the integrity of some roadways that were recently constructed, so for example, such as Charles Avenue. So the route that we were shown will ensure that there will be minimal disruption and of course traffic flow. We try our best not to affect that too heavily.
And that was the Minister for Energy, Dr. Vince Henderson, taking us to the end of this evening's National Focus. Up next is news from the region and international.
It's in the feeling and how we talk. It's in the meaning and our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. 'Cause the rhythm of life keeps pumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things flowing. Before we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrate and come, let your rhythm flow.
DBS News.
And welcome back. Now, news from the region. Eastern Caribbean nations offering citizenship by investment are preparing to pass a joint law in September 2025 to create a regional regulator for the programs. This follows more than 2 years of talks with international partners, including the US, UK, and EU, and extensive local consultations and consultants. The programs are seen as critical to the economies of Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia. Revenue from CBI or CIP funds, revenue from the CIB or CIP funds, they fund infrastructure, they also fund development and climate resilient projects. Leaders warn that dismantling them could cause severe social and economic harms. Internationally, the European Union has sent 2 firefighting planes to Spain to help battle raging wildfires after the country activated the bloc's disaster assistance mechanism for the first time. The assistance comes as the country recorded a 3rd wildfire-related death on Thursday morning today, as there are concerns the wildfires could continue to spread. Spain's state weather agency, AMET, forecasts that a heat wave will continue until Monday, with temperatures of up to 44 degrees Celsius in some areas, as well as moderate winds. Spain is the 5th European nation to request assistance with fighting wildfires. In Greece, 25,000 acres of land have burned since Tuesday. Well, this brings us to the end of this evening's news, and up next is sports.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Flow's prepaid customers can now unlock big bonus rewards like bonus data, prizes, and more every time you activate a 3-day prepaid plan or larger. Activate activate a plan, then scratch to reveal your bonus data. Plus, get points for extra prizes. The more you activate, the more bonus data and prizes you can win. Get in on the big bonus rewards when you activate a prepaid plan. Dial star 129 pound or visit topupflow.com to activate a plan today.
And welcome to your DBS Evening Sports for today, Thursday, August 14 for 2025. First off, Nicholas Paran has been named captain of the Trinbago Knight Riders for the 2025 Caribbean Premier League, which begins this evening. He will take over from Karen Pollard, who has led the team since 2019 when he replaced Dwayne Bravo in the role. Paran, who is one of the most sought-after players on the T20 circuit, made his debut in the format as a 17-year-old in the inaugural season of the CPL for TKR, who were then known as Trinidad and Tobago Red Steel. He switched to Barbados Royals and Guyana Amazon Warriors before returning to TKR in 2022 and has played in all the CPL seasons so far except for 2015 when he was out injured due to an accident. Former captain Karen Pollard says this is the right opportunity for Paran and they have been preparing him for this role over the years. TKR start their CPL 2025 campaign against St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots on August 17th. Meanwhile, the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots and the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons will go head-to-head in the opening match of the Caribbean Premier League this evening. That match gets underway at 7 p.m. in St. Kitts. And Dominica's Alec Athanaze is hoping for a strong season as he will feature for the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots in the 2025 Caribbean Premier League. Still in more sports, legendary West Indies batsman and former captain Sir Vivian Richards has warned that actions based on emotions will not solve the issues that have plagued the West Indies cricket for years. Speaking publicly on the issue for the first time since the regional squad was bowled out for just 27 against Australia in July, the Antiguan called for patience and a level-headed approach to finding a permanent solution. The extraordinary innings prompted calls for top-level review of West Indies cricket, a review which took place earlier this week in Trinidad. Sir Viv, speaking on the Good Morning Jojo sports show, said he understands the reactions to the team's dismal showing, adding that words can make or break a team.
I guess that West Indies being bowled out for 27 did send some alarm bells flying. And there's a whole lot of talk. There's quite a lot of talk. And I just felt at the time, if you notice that you haven't heard any comment from me, And I felt that with all the chit-chat at the time, and rightly so, I guess there are reasons too, but there are certain times that I believe, especially in the times that the team is in at present, we just need to lay back a little bit and be a little bit more constructive to some of the decisions and the fact of who should go and this and blah, 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 blah. I know these are desperate times, but at this particular point, all the talking does not quite help. And I just think we need to have a little somber period where we try and, maybe because of the way things are, there's some panicking going on at this particular stage. And I just think it just needs some cool heads for us to relax and find some better ways. And this is just my belief.
And that was the legendary West Indies batsman and former captain Sir Vivian Richards. Into some basketball action, the Dr. Dara Pishley Sports Club Falcons have moved into first place in point standings in the DABA Premier League after they pulled off a hard-fought win over the happy 767 Sports Club Dominators as the DABA Premier League continued last night at the Massac Indoor facility. The Dominators jumped out to an early lead to their trio of American-based players, giving them a 13-point lead in the second quarter. But the Falcons came soaring back with some strong play from Zach Bastia as they took down the Dominators 90-84. Zach Bastia had 22 points, Karim Daniel 14, JV Bellot 13, and Ronnie McGlaw and Tilo Birmingham 11 points each for the Falcons, while the American Assad Mohammed had 37 and Davon Ware had 20 for the Dominators. The Falcons are now in first place with a 1-point lead over the Paybush Eagles. Meantime, in the Division 1 League last night, the Maho Gators continued with their winning streak as they moved into first place in the point standings with a 64-57 win over the Perky's Pizza 767 Sports Club Young Ballers. Vaughn Vidal had 26 and Delton Eugene 19 for the Gators team, while McNeil Joseph had 23 and Andel Olivache 21 for the young ballers. The basketball action continues tonight with the Dennis Charles Pemberton Seahawks battling the undefeated West Coast Ballers at 7 p.m. and at 9 p.m. in the Premier League is the BAA Sharks up against the Paybush Super Eagles, also undefeated. Into summer swimming actions, national swimmer Jasmine Schofield says she plans on working on her technique and her form as she prepares for the next swimming season. Her comments as her campaign in the Pan Am Junior Games came to an end in Paraguay yesterday. Schofield ended her run in the competition with an 8th place finish in a heat in the women's 50-meter freestyle event and a 5th place finish in the 100-meter freestyle heats. Speaking on the off-the-field program last night, Schofield says she is confident with the hard work that she'll be able to put in and become a better athlete.
Yeah, I've been working on my technique a lot, and I understand that working on a lot of technical aspects of your swim, it can take a long time to see a lot of breakthroughs. I had a few breakthroughs a couple months ago, and then my coaches were like, okay, we need to tweak some more things. I've been putting a lot of work in the gym and all that has been going good. Now it's just having to bind it all together technically. So my coaches say that I should be able to see some results in like a few months, give or take, but it's like a normal process. It's sort of like a 2 steps forward, 1 step back sort of thing that at least that's how they explained it to me. My plan for the rest of the season is to just really dial in on my technique, keep going really hard in the gym, work on cardio and endurance and all that. I have a new program set up with World Aquatics to move to Bahrain and train there for the next cycle until the next World Championship in December of next year. And until then, I'm just going to be on the grind with my coaches at home, and we'll see what happens then.
And that was the national swimmer Jasmine Schofield. The attention at the Pan Am Games now moves from swimming to athletics. Former Carifta Games gold medalists Trinice Hamilton and Addison James will participate in track and field next week. Hamilton will compete in the women's shot put and James in the javelin event. Meantime, Olympic athlete Denick Luke and former Carifta Games gold medalist Trinice Hamilton are set to represent Dominica at the upcoming NACAC Championships, which will get underway in the Bahamas this week. Hamilton will participate in the shot put, while Luke, who is a seasoned 800-meter specialist, will be participating in the 400-meter hurdle event. In more sports, Trinidad and Tobago fast bowler Joshua James has been officially cleared to resume bowling in all West Indies international and regional matches following the successful completion of a remedial program and a reassessment of his bowling action. James was initially reported for a suspect bowling action during the West Indies Breakout League earlier this year. Match officials cited concerns during the first 2 matches against Barbados Pelicans and the Guyana Rainforest Rangers held at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Trinidad. In accordance with CWI's protocols, video footage and a written report were submitted to Loughborough University for independent analysis on April 28th. The opinion report from the university's independent assessor confirmed that James' bowling action was illegal. As a result, he was suspended from bowling in all West Indies sanctioned competitions and other domestic leagues globally. Since then, James has undertaken an intensive period of remedial work under the supervision of the Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board. Updated footage of his revised bowling action was submitted to Loughborough University on August 8, 2025, and the latest opinion report has confirmed that his action complies with the regulations. And finally, in sports, this cricket here, Cricket West Indies Director of Cricket Miles Bascom says there is need to educate the younger generation of what it means to play for the West Indies. Bascom says greater education on the history and importance of West Indies cricket to the people of the Caribbean could go a long way in helping the players do better.
It is still part of the dream of any young cricketer in the region. We spent a lot of time over the last 2 days talking about educating our young players. right? And not just our young players, educating our young people of the region about what this thing called West Indies cricket means, why it means so much to so many people, right? And, you know, they're growing up in a time where, you know, they are far removed from our colonial history, right? And if we don't teach them about that era and what cricket was able to do for West Indian people at home and in the diaspora, it is very difficult to inculcate the type of passion and love that, you know, everybody at this table and many of you in the audience feel about West Indian cricket, because we understand what it means to us. So we have to educate our young people about what West Indies cricket means, why there is such a high expectation on players who put on that maroon, and why, you know, people are so hurt when we are not doing so well.
And that was Cricket West Indies Director of Cricket, Miles Bascom, taking us to the end of this evening's News and Sports. A special thank you to the DBS News and Sports team and link personnel, DJ Halo Boy.
It's in the feeling and how we talk. It's in the meaning and our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. 'Cause the rhythm of life is pumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things flowing. Before we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrate and come, let your rhythm flow.
DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live streaming of funerals. Call us today at 448-3282.
Good evening and welcome to the evening edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. It is the 14th day of August 2025, and we begin with this evening's edition of the DBS Radio Death Announcements. We announce the death of Catherine Phyllis Evelyn Barnes Mility, better known as Ma Kate, age 99. The funeral arrangements of the late Catherine Phyllis Evelyn Barnes Mility, better known as Ma Kate, will be given in a subsequent announcement. The management and staff of the Dominica Broadcasting Corporations extend deepest condolences to the family of the late Catherine Phyllis Evelyn Barnes Mility, better known as Ma Kate.
DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live streaming of funerals. Call us today at 448-3282.
We've come to the end of this evening's edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. Thank you very much for joining us. The next edition is tomorrow morning from 7:40 a.m. Don't forget to send your announcements and your general announcements or any announcements. Send it to our new email address. It is traffic